going on, everyone? Thanks for stopping to my channel. You're probably watching this because you want to see how to install a wideband air-fuel ratio gauge. First and foremost, I'd say I'm not a professional. I will do my best to explain how I did it and how to do it. I picked it up off of Facebook Marketplace, used, so it's not brand new. The kid said he never really ran it, but that's besides the point. So I kind of got it mocked up. I'm going to show you what I plan on doing and how I plan on running the wires, and we'll get going. Like I said, I bought it used, so I had to look up the instructions online, which aren't very hard. This is the harness. This is what goes to the wideband O2 sensor. This is that. So ground. It says red is switched power. Brown is hot, so directly to the battery, or a 12-volt source always has power. And the white is the illumination, which actually turns the brightness down when your headlights come on. So you hook it to headlights or your gauge cluster, something that brightens up when it's nighttime, but you want these gauges to dim down. So this is the vacuum gauge I had before, and I already have the 3-pillar gauge cluster thing. And this is the wideband I picked up. It's an Autometer Pro Comp ultra-lite wideband. Narrowband doesn't really do you much good, kind of just for looks, which is kind of what the vacuum gauge is for, but whatever. But the wideband actually does tell you how your engine is running. So I put it there, and the Autometers are nice because the harness plugs into the back. This one is a glow shift, and the wires just come out and you gotta hook them all up. Like I showed you, this is the harness it comes with, which is a pretty big plug. So you can see it's going to be kind of difficult to get everything through the firewall, but I think I found a solution. I pulled off my side paneling and pulled the carpet up, and right here is the hole. I'm not sure what exactly that wire is that goes through it, but we're going to run the wire through there. And now if you're new to the channel, I swapped a 6-liter to my truck, and I have the Cook's headers with the off-road Y-pipe. And my truck is tuned, so I removed the rear O2 sensors, so the bungs were just plugged off like this one. So it's kind of cheating for me. It's easy. This is the O2 sensor the gauge comes with, so I just put it in the rear O2 spot. If you're not as fortunate as me, you'll have to drill a hole and have a bung welded in for it, but I lucked out and already had the bung there. And here is the thing coming out of the floor that we're going to use. Maybe some, I don't even know what it is, but we're going to stuff our wires up through there. There's one of two ways that we can get this through that hole. Either stuff this fat in through, which is not the way I want to go, or come from underneath and just have this little end come through, and we'll fish all the excess wire up and just have this tail end sticking out. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think I'm going to cut a little hole in it, because if we just pinched in there, it might eventually rub through the wiring insulation and short out, so we don't want to do that. I think we'll just cut a hole in it, and then when we're done, we'll silicone everything up so we don't have any leaks. So that actually worked out pretty well. The hole is kind of big, but I mean, you had to fit this through it, so nothing a little silicone won't fix. We'll do that, and then we can put this all back together. Won't even know it's there. But first, I mean, we'll run this up through there, but actually before put everything back together, we're going to run this all the way up to the gauge, and then see how much excess we have, and we'll bunch it up and stick it somewhere under the carpet so you don't see it. So for both the glow shift and the Autometer, red, you can see that, definitely not. Red is switched. Red is the switched power, so not the constant. The constant is always hooked to power. The switched tells everything to turn on So when you cycle your ignition on, something that only turns on with the ignition will tell the gauges to turn on. So we'll hook the reds together and just have one power wire going to both of them, and later on, have a third wire going to the third gauge whenever I get that. But for now, let's hook those two together so they're both to constant power. Okay, so I went ahead and just hooked everything up. So we got the power for both, switch for both, the ground for both, and the illumination for both. It dims it down. So got everything hooked up. I need to get more of the big fuse piggyback deals, because right now this is the only power I somewhat switch power. It actually, on these trucks, when you turn the engine off, the radio stays going, and I think the windows still work, and that's what I have it hooked to, so the gauges stay lit up until you open the door, and that's fine for now. I think eventually I want to hook it up to where it's with the gauges, but for now all we have is this cheap, I know, cringe right now, this guy to clip into there to give us power. I'll fix it eventually, but for all the people that have been following along for a while, they'll remember me saying that this truck has kind of been the guinea pig. When I first started, I didn't know a lot, and I would get in a hurry doing things and not do them 100% correct, but it works. We'll fix it later, but for now, I want to see if everything works, so we're going to hook that up and then fire it up. Okay, let's see if it works. All right. Not sure what it's doing, but we'll go ahead and just let it count down and see what happens. Okay, it counts down again anyway. About widebands, but I think it's a little rich. I don't know, it's in green, so I guess it's good. Okay, so now that we know it works, we'll go ahead and tuck the wires back in. You still need your normal pillar deal. I'd cut a little out so the wires could fit through, because you drill holes up here, and this little, there they are, little push pins snap into. So I'm gonna tuck everything back up. You guys kind of get the idea of that. Pull the slack back out of everything. Close that back up. And then now we'll run this behind the carpet. Tuck up under there. Won't even know it's there. Okay, the GoPro's having some heat problems, but I'll just use my phone. Take it for a ride and see what happens. So these little guys are what I was talking about, the little piggyback deals. Glow Shift sells them. So it takes out the fuse and, you know, it connects it like it should. So the factory one works fine. Then you run a fuse for your power, because you don't want to run power straight to anything electrical. The reason why you want to run a fuse is that if it surges or if it's overpowered or whatever, it's not going to burn your gauges up or whatever electrical thing you got going on in it, or, you know, God forbid it blows apart and starts an electrical fire, which would really suck. So the fuse just, you know, it burns up, everything cuts out, but it saves everything. So you blow a fuse, you know you got a problem somewhere else. So that's why you want to run a fuse. But I need to get some more of those for the switch power. Probably wait till I get a third gauge. I'm not sure what the third gauge I'm going to run yet. If you have any ideas, comment below. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative and maybe you learned something. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.